Rebel Animals at Risk. Stories of Survival by Kimberlie Hamilton. Continuation of South America. Miss Baker, Squirrel Monkey. Miss Baker was born in Peru and was one of 2 primates selected for the American Space Training Program. In 1959, she and a monkey named Abel embarked on a history-making 15-minute suborbital flight that included 9 minutes of weightlessness. They were the first mammals to fly in space and make it back home alive, an experiment they may now consider inhumane. Miss Baker charmed everyone at a post-flight press conference, munching on peanuts as reporters and photographers jostled each other to get closer. She lived to be 27, the oldest known squirrel monkey in the world, and her brave contribution to science should have never be forgotten. Today, at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Alabama, visitors often leave a banana on her plucky space heroine's grave. Paula, sloth. Or Paula. Paula is the world's oldest known 2-toed sloth. Born in a tropical rainforest in South America, she now lives at Germany's Halle Zoo, where she was mistakenly believed to be a boy for 20 years. The truth finally came out when Paula went in for an ultrasound scan. Sloths usually live about 20 years in the wild and up to twice that long in captivity, but none have ever lived as long as Paula. She set a Guinness World Record in 2019, where she reached the age of 50, which is equal about 90 in human years. What's the secret to Paula's incredible longevity? It might be her stress-free life and devoted caregivers, some of whom have looked after her for more than 30 years. Or maybe it's that Paula loves her role as a super slow-moving ambassador for her species. Poncho Moscow. Poncho used to work for a company that provided Hollywood studios with talented animal actors for films. The green-winged macaw showed the silver screen with stars like Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, and Glenn Close, as she played roles in Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Dr. Dolittle, and 102 Dalmatians. Quite a glamorous life compared to Moscow's in the wild, which is threatened with her habitat loss and extinction. Clever and colorful, Poncho retired from showbiz in 2000 and moved to a farm in England, where she lives with the owner of an exotic pet shop. She's still a diver, refusing to fly and making a fuss if people don't pay enough attention to her. When Poncho turned 90 years old in 2015, she set a Guinness World Record as the oldest known parrot on the planet. Romeo and Juliet. Sehuencas water frogs. A biologist in Bolivia captured a rare Sehuencas water frog in 2009 and named him Romeo. Their goal was to start a breeding program, but no other frogs of his kind could be found. Poor Romeo lived by himself in an aquarium for years, so lonely that he stopped singing his mating song. Desperate to find him a companion, the caregivers posted his profile on an online dating site. The profile linked to a donation page that raised funds for an expedition to search for other frogs. In 2019, the team was elated to find a female frog they called Juliet. Romeo serenaded Juliet with his special song on their first date, and the celebrity couple now share the same tank. Only 4 others of his species are known to exist, and scientists hope to see tadpoles someday soon. South American wildlife wins. There are all kinds of exciting conservation programs currently underway in South America. Here are a few highlights. The blue-throated hill star hummingbird, with its emerald and sapphire coloring, was only discovered in 2017. The tiny bird's natural habitat is equally tiny, just a 114 square kilometer, 45 square mile area of Ecuador. Conservationists are working to obtain legal protection for this area. The wetland earthworms in the Galapagos Islands include outstanding invasive species and reintroduced native ones. Authorities have also set limits on the number of visitors each day to help keep the environment as natural and damage-free as possible. Visitors are required to stay 2 meters, 6 feet, away from wild animals too. A forested wildlife crossing for golden lion, tamaris, and under construction over a major highway in Brazil. Conservation is convinced that the highway construction company to build and pay for the overpass, which will be the first of his kind in this country, and link areas of rainforest to help these monkeys move around. 90% of the world's jaguars live in the Amazon River basin, where they are losing their jungle habitat at an alarming rate. Concerned scientists are creating network or protected areas spanning 11 South American countries. Linking their fragmented territories with the wildlife corridors will help the cats find mates and keep their population stable. Peru passed a new law in 2018 that put limits on single-use plastic and banned all plastic items in vulnerable places, such as beaches, historic sites, and protected wildlife habitats. A number of cattle ranches in Bolivia have been converted to wildlife sanctuaries, with former farmers now working as tour guides. The Minder harlequin toad, last seen in Ecuador in 1989, was rediscovered 30 years later. The tiny frog was thought to be extinct. Parrots lost to amphibian-killing fungus. Not only was the rediscovery a wonderful surprise, but scientists hope it might mean the toad has become immune to the disease. Actor and climate activist Leonardo DiCaprio raised £4 million, nearly $5 million, to help fight fires in Brazil's Amazon rainforest in 2019. His foundation, Earth Alliance, donated the funds to 5 local organizations that battled the blazes. Other amazing South American animals. Belfast Zoo in Northern Ireland became a baby vicuna named Bluebell in 2019. She lived with her parents, Gretchen and Ozzy, and 2 other vicuna, a South American species related to camels that is independent and breeding programs to increase its numbers. During the COVID-19 lockdown in early 2020, Chico, a Linnaeus's 2-toed sloth, native to the forests of South America, went on a tour of aquarium in Tejas, USA, part of an enrichment program of zoo animals. A trio of dolphins were so overjoyed by the odd-looking visitor, one of them attempted upside-down sloth impression. A South American Magellanic penguin named Din had a human for best friend. The man rescued the injured animals years ago off the coast of Rio de Janeiro. The Wyndham swims out to sea whenever he feels like it, but often returns and honks with delight when he spots to his buddy. A female Fernandina giant tortoise was found in the Galapagos Islands with 2019, taking conservationists completely by surprise. Her species hadn't been seen since now 1906. Even at 100 years old, she may be able to help increase her species at 100 isn't that old for a giant tortoise. Jaguar cubs Juruna and Barina were the first of their kind to be reintroduced to the wilds in 2019 in Argentina, a country where the big cats were once hunted almost for extinction. Tamarins are usually found in southern Central America through Central South America, but in 2019, the 3 cotton-topped tamarine babies were born to parents Lilo and Kevin at John Ball Zoo in Michigan, USA. Triplets in this rare species are almost unknown, and Lilo and Kevin are already making a big contribution to the zoo's breeding program. These primates have bushy white hair around their heads and makes them look like Albert Einstein. Lonesome George was a Pinta Island tortoise who had the last of his species. In his final years, he was considered the rarest creature on Earth, a symbol for wildlife conservation around the world. When he died in 2012, his entire species died out too. Chilean flamingos Popcorn and Peanut were born at Belfast Zoo in 2019, and they were the first chicks to successfully hatch there. Zookeepers had finally resorted to using electrical fence and fake eggs to encourage breeding, a strategy that worked like a charm. Tieta the toucan was missing half of her upper beak after she'd been badly abused by wildlife smugglers. In 2015, searchers in Brazil created a new beak for her using 3D printer. Tato now works to raise awareness about animal trafficking.
Тепер біжи туди. Туди. Та не туди, по алеї. Біжи швидше.